Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, look at the desk. The desk is full. Mm-hmm. It is crowded. We have papers everywhere, except yours is a little bare.
Yeah, I'm organized.
I see your
well, this has been here
stuff.
For like three
shows. No. I know. This is my life right here. It's the calendar.
Well, it's been there forever.
I had all the stuff that I did last night because big show today. It's our annual pick show with FLW kicking off today.
So we got to do the picks for that, and we're going to do the Elite Series too.
Yes.
So
I have massive quantities of paper here because I did some work last night.
Okay.
So we are ready for that, and then we're going to have our man Joe from FLW Outdoors. We're going to have him on here in a few minutes.
All right. One of the things we did last year, I went back and listened to the pick show, and we kind of botched it because we picked like 4 or 5. We just started throwing out names by the end of it. So we stuck with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we really didn't have, we had picks, not a pick, so you couldn't go back. Well, hell, if you name the whole field, of course you're going to name the winner. So one of the stipulations.
I didn't really understand that.
If you pick the whole field, you're going to also pick the winner. Did I
actually pick the whole field?
No, I'm just saying the more guys you pick, the less impressive it is when you name a guy who wins. So one of the things we did this year was we went back, we made sure each of us just had one pick.
Well,
for
I picked
each
3.
turn.
I thought you said pick 3. I picked my top 3.
Well, okay, well, you're just saying I just picked 1 for each one.
Okay, I did a little more work.
No, you didn't. You have no idea how much work I did to get the one pick.
I said I did a little more work picking the top 3 rather than just picking 1.
Well, how do you know I didn't pick the top 10 and then eliminated the 9?
I made reference to myself.
All right, well, you can give your top 3, but as long as you have a top pick.
You said
no.
Top 3. Okay. I'm sorry, man.
Miscommunication in the production meeting.
Sorry.
But yeah, so we're going to go through that. And then, like I said, obviously this is the first day of the 2018 season, kicking things off on Okeechobee. They start with 2 stops in Florida, actually, this year.
Harris Chain?
Yeah, next month they're headed to, I think you're right. Yeah, the Harris Chain in February, which I didn't realize they hadn't been that. It seems like, they always go to Florida to start the year, which they actually don't. They've started other places, but the Harris Chain has not been on the schedule very much.
There was some stuff that went down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a tour stop, but there was some
So I'm looking forward to getting into this. I think I only had like 2 picks last year out of all of them, but that's good. And you had a couple top 5 picks too.
It's a stab in the dark, really. Yeah. I mean, you're basing everything upon historical data, kind of what you know about the angler, and what the situation might be based upon so many factors that are going to come into play.
And there's some weird stops on the tour this year where you really have to just kind of.
All right, so we'll get into that. I want to touch on a couple things real quick. I want to send a thank you out to Martin Peters of Yamaha. Mm-hmm. I received an email. I kind of mentioned it on the last show. I received an email from a fan who was voicing some concern about an unfortunate situation that Yamaha is going through right now.
Right.
So I reached out to Yamaha, and kudos to them. Neil got right back to me and said, hey, I'll get you an answer. And basically, they are going through a very unique situation where it's like they classified it, both Ben Special, the man that runs things over at Yamaha, called it a perfect storm. And
what's the actual deal again?
What the issue is there are certain certain models of
Yamaha outboard motors
that the dealers are not going to be able to get until maybe late in 2018.
Oh, that's a whole year.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
And I don't know how many guys that you've spoken with, Matt. Some of the pros, Yamaha pros, have actually had some challenges. Not that they haven't been taken care of, because they have. Some of them have experienced some challenges in getting everything set up. I mean,
well, that's not good, but I mean, unless they're sold out of everything.
Well, that's part of the issue. And there was actually a story in an industry publication called Sounding Trades Only, which is a marine industry publication. I wasn't really familiar with it. I knew about it, but it's not one of the places that I go and check out all the time. And very interesting story. I've actually referred the guy that sent the email in, John,
To the
story.
Okay.
Martin responded back to me, and there's actually some quotes from Ben Special in here about the situation where they're gonna have difficulties. Part of it was, let's just classify it as retooling the manufacturing process, and then with the high demand,
retooling, is that redoing the machines that make the parts?
I have no idea. It's obviously something to do with the manufacturing process. But the bottom line is, folks, here, hey, if you're in the market for a Yamaha with whatever rig that
better
you're
go
running,
get it now.
Whatever's at the dealer's probably going to be there, and then once those are gone, probably not going to be a whole lot more coming in for a little while. But I respect the fact that they got back to me so quickly. And if you get a chance and you're concerned about that, you have some interest in the marine industry, in the Yamaha situation, check that story out. I will actually put the link out there. And it's got some pretty general information. But basically, it's just the perfect storm. And as Martin called it, Martin Peters was actually quoted in the story, there is a tremendous demand in the entire industry right now. And he's right, because there is some more very interesting information that came down, I believe this week, where they were actually looking what?
You got airplane tickets in there. And
I know, dude. I grabbed everything
Continue.
I grabbed everything off the print.
For the iTunes viewers, we're looking at the pile of papers on Jeffrey's desk.
There was a bunch.
Right in with the Yamaha document is thank you for your purchase on Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, that's for you, man.
Anyway, continue.
Continue.
Because then I got something. That's why I've been messing on my phone here. I got something that one of our viewers sent in an email.
Okay. Boat sales, we've been talking about how some of the things have really impacted what's going on. It looks like the way that the reporting system works and the industry dealerships and owners and all that, they know all about this, but the early indication is for the bass boat market, it looks like it's going to be anywhere from a 5 to 7.5% increase in 2017 over 2016, and a very high demand for the high-end boats, Matthew. And I truly believe, man, I said that when we did our year-end thing, I really think that the amount of wealth that is being generated due to the stock market is having a massive impact on this. Because there's guys out there and girls, they got some fat checks coming in because of the stock market, and if they fish, they want the best, and that's what a large quantity of people are doing that have the money. And for the average Joe, it's kind of I'm going to say it, a perfect storm, because as long as people keep buying them, they're going to keep selling them. So the day when a lot of people have talked to me about this, about the bubble bursting, when is the consumer going to get to the point where they say $85,000, $90,000 is too much for a bass boat? Dude, I'm telling you right now, as long as people keep buying them, that bubble is not going to happen anytime soon.
There you go. And we saw, Vex is coming on board too.
Yeah.
So obviously those guys have been in the industry long enough to know that they wouldn't have done it if they didn't think they could be profitable.
Yeah, it is a good business right now to be in. All right, man, what you got?
Sean took a little bit of exception to your kind of
rant,
hardline stance on how you have to be a jerk in order to be competitive.
Not what I said. That is not what I said. Not anywhere close to what I said. But go ahead, continue.
What did you say?
I said, dude, you have to have the mentality and the attitude of take no prisoners. You don't have to be a jerk, but you don't have to be nice. It's all about being at the highest level. I'm going to give you an example before you say this, just real quick. All right, big day for me tomorrow. Big day for me tomorrow. I've had January 26th circled on the calendar for about 9 months. You know why, Matthew?
Nope.
Guess where we play tomorrow night?
Where you used to coach?
That is correct. All right? Do you think I'm going to be...
This explains a lot.
Do you think this is going to be... Oh, hey,
Now the
guys,
last 2 weeks
it's
are starting
so
to make
nice
sense.
to see you. I'm so glad to be back on how you guys treated me.
That's why you got all the new threads.
Well, I have freshman game tonight.
That's why you've been on edge.
Right? Am I going to go in there thinking, I hope we just get a W. I hope that, I hope everybody is just fine. No, dude, I want to go in there and blow them out by 50 if we can.
All right. Well,
Point
Sean,
taken?
Point taken. Sean said, great show, but some food for thought. Intensity in sports can be overrated. You play/participate to your personality. Curtis Strange was tough as nails and played to that. Lee Trevino laughed his way to 6 majors, beating the GOAT Jack in 4 of them. Jack Nicklaus. Now in fishing, you need to defend your area/hole, i.e., Denny and Biffle's story with the very young co-angler named Ike, but swapping a lure is not a bad thing. Be good, fellas. That was a fair point there.
Yeah.
So, laughed his way to 6 majors, and you can share lures. And so, anyway, interesting message that we had there on Facebook from Sean.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Even if you don't agree, disagree, whatever, keep them coming.
And if you don't follow us on Facebook, the Bass Talk Live Facebook page, we post all of the upcoming shows on there, highlights from the previous shows, and feel free to message us with your thoughts and opinions.
And make sure if you're listening on iTunes that you throw in a review.
Yeah, we've actually
good
been getting quite a few comments on that. So
very, very
preferably
appreciative
good.
of
That helps.
All right,
the 5 stars.
Before we get into the picks, I do want to make another announcement real quick. We have another one-on-one live match set.
Okay. I know you've been working on a number of them, so I'm not sure which one this is.
All right, so obviously we have the Gerald Swindle versus Strader. We also have Jason Christie versus Brent Ayler.
Holy cow.
All right, that's going to take place here in Oklahoma on a lake that will not be announced until the day of the competition.
But it will not be Grand.
Will not be Grand Lake.
Okay.
That's a given. All right, and then the third match that we are going to announce is Greg Hackney versus Seth Feider.
There you go.
And that will take place somewhere in the state of Texas.
Cool.
All right, so very excited about that. More to come. The final match of the year, the last one, that is booked, but we're going to tease that one.
Okay.
So it's good stuff. All right, man. You ready on this?
Yeah. So this is basically all the sheet of paper that we have here. It's our picks for who we think will win each Elite Series stop this season, and then we'll give our Angler of the Year pick and our Rookie of the Year pick, and who will win each FLW Tour stop of the season, and who will win the FLW Tour Angler of the Year and FLW Tour Rookie.
Or do you want to
No,
end
I
with
think we
FLW?
start with the Elite Series and then end with FLW, because then we can take a break and go into
to
Joe,
Joe.
who's actually live at, I think, Roland Martin's Marina right there where they took out of down in Florida, who will kind of introduce us to the upcoming FLW Tour season and what's going on down there in Florida for the first stop. But we will start with our picks for the Bassmaster Elite Series. Now, you have not seen my list, have you?
No.
I have not seen your list.
No.
We'll go about, there's 8, 9, 10. Joe will be pretty flexible. We will go.
Yeah, we're good.
We'll go
We're
about
good.
a minute on each one.
We're good.
But we'll give our first pick. So the first one is stop number 1, Lake Martin. That's coming up in 2 weeks, February 8th through 11th. That's in Alabama. Who you got and why?
Oh, you want me to go first?
We'll alternate.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, when you look at my picks, I'm sticking with it. The trend the last 2 years has been the HFA. I've been a huge, huge believer in the HFA, and I'm going with it again. The thing about this body of water, it is going to be a spotted bass
festival.
Yes. Very few largemouth. There will be some largemouth caught.
Possibly up the river.
But they're on the, how do you say it? Tallapoosa River?
Yeah.
And not the Coosa River?
Yeah.
So you don't have the big, massive, strong Coosa River spots.
Yeah, Matt Herron explained that to us in a fantastic video.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Okay. So I think the jerkbait bite is going to be a huge, huge factor.
Yep.
I think the HFA is going to be a huge factor. I'm taking Kelly J and Micah Frazier right behind him.
Okay. I got Kelly J as well. My main reasoning was we have heard a number of anglers, Russ Lane, Boyd Duckett, talk about how they have a lot of experience on Martin, but in a long time ago, and that the lake has changed a lot. Well, Kelly J lives right on the lake, so he's been with it through the changes. and obviously got a lot of practicing. He's
I
got
will be
3 top
shocked.
10 BFLs there.
Yeah.
From 2004 to 2014. So I think it's going to come down to how he handles the pressure for being in a position to win one. The next one is the Bassmaster Classic on Lake Hartwell.
Oh,
March 16th through 18th. And dude, I don't even know who you've got. I'm going to tell you, I got the winner.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I've got the winner here.
throw it out there.
Jacob Wheeler.
He's on my list.
Is he your number 1?
He's my number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Jacob Wheeler's going to win. Here's why. Jacob Wheeler fished the FLW Tour on Lake Hartwell in March 3 times. 2012, 2014, and 2016. He finished 38th, 20th, and 46th. All solid finishes in a 150-plus boat field. He then fished the 2015 Bassmaster Classic on Lake Hartwell and finished 14th. So he is the most focused angler when it comes to practice, when it comes to homework, when it comes to getting it done. You know how hungry he is to win a Bassmaster Classic. That's all he thinks about.
Yeah.
So then you throw in the fact that he is probably one of the most underrated primetime performers when you think of championship events. He's fished in 1 Classic. He's fished in the BFL All-American. He's fished in 6 Forest Wood Cups. He has top 12 finishes in all 6 of his Forest Wood Cups, including a win and a second place. He's won the All-American, and then he had the 14th in 2015 in the Classic. So out of his 8 championship events, he has 8 top 15 finishes with 2 wins and the most tournament experience in March on Lake Hartwell out of anybody in the field.
I'm with you. All right.
So he's going to win the Bassmaster Classic.
I'm with it. He was on my list. He was my number 3 pick. Everything you said is true. The other thing is, though, you know what just happened to him? He had a big life change.
He got married?
He got married. And he has been very, very, very busy with some of the involvement that he has with his sponsors. And quite honestly, I think that if he's not in the thick of things on Sunday, I will be shocked. Right? I agree with everything that you say. The only difference is this is the Classic. He obviously has the performance, but I don't know. I just think something weird is going to happen with him.
All right, who you got?
All right. Casey Ashley, dude.
Back-to-back on Hartwell.
Yes.
Two classics in a row.
There's nobody in the field that has more knowledge, more experience, more confidence on that body of water than Casey.
Yeah.
And I told you at the start, Matthew, my picks are heavy on the HFA.
Well, yeah, my picks. I mean, I don't really have anything that's out of the ordinary. Anything else on the Classic?
Yeah, I'm going to throw a wild card out there. This would be a huge story, and I think that he has spent the time and effort and is really dialed in, and he's kind of under the radar, is Mark Daniels Jr.
Good pick.
All right?
Alabama.
So, yeah.
The West Coast deal.
That's my 3.
You go first. Stop number 2, the Sabine River, April 6th through 9th. Who's your winner?
A couple of factors from the last time that they were there. Chris Lane won. He had a measly, and I say a measly 50 pounds. This place sucks. That's the bottom line.
It's probably going to suck more because they can't fish in Louisiana this year.
Yeah. What's going to win it? 40?
I don't know.
Maybe 45?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
It's going to be a total grind.
I've got the word grind written down.
Yeah. McClellan made the long run last time they were there. Is there some X factor that's going to take place similar to what McClellan did last time that they were there? Who knows? So the guy I got winning it, Greg Hackney.
Good one. I got Todd Faircloth.
He's my number 2 guy.
Yeah, he won in 2013, 9th in 2015. He's got 14 top 10s in Louisiana or Texas. And when it comes to slowing down, picking an area apart, throwing a small plastic or jig with confidence and execution-wise, Todd can get it done.
Yeah, and then my number 3 guy, I think he is poised to have a great season, and that's Dean Rojas.
There you go.
All right.
The third stop of the season on Grand Lake, April 26th through 29th. This will be a quick one. I got Jason Christie. No need to say why. I don't even care if it's the spawn or not.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you got Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Hang on. I do want to say one other thing real quick. My 2 guy, Edwin.
Yeah.
My 3 guy, Jason Elam.
James Elam?
Or James Elam, yeah.
You combine Jason Christie and James Elam on Grand Lake, everyone's screwed. Yeah, he won an open there. All right, stop number 4.
This is a no-brainer, too.
You're up first. No, this went a little off the board here. Kentucky Lake, May 4th through 7th.
All right. The last time they were there, it took almost 100 pounds to win.
Yep.
There's nobody in the country. There's nobody alive that is better on this body of water than the initials KVD.
Right.
Nobody.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
My second guy. All right, once again, he finished 4th in 2015, 2nd in 2008. He's probably either 2 or 3 on this body of water, and that's Tim Horton.
Mm-hmm.
And then my third guy, he had one bad day back in, I think it was 2015. He went, what did he do? Oh, he went 23, 20, and 24. And had 14 on his day one. Steve Kennedy.
Yeah, I know, the swim bait deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be
all right,
good.
so those are my 3, man.
All right, dude, I'm going Jacob Wheeler again. Jacob Wheeler has an axe to grind on Kentucky Lake. Didn't get invited to Fish Bass Fest there. Wanted to fish Bass Fest a couple years back. Was out there fishing with his buddies. He has 2 top 10s in the FLW Tour. He recently moved to Chickamauga, where he has learn to hone his skills on the ledges, throwing a variety of big baits, the spoon, the hair jig, the deep diving crankbait, the football head, the 10-inch worm. He is not afraid, if this turns into a straight ledge deal, to get in the mix and mix it up. He's not going to be intimidated by the other anglers, and I think it just sets up really well for him and what he likes to do with the history that he has.
All right, you're up with number 5.
Lake Travis, I am going to go with Wesley Strader. I kind of went back and looked at some of the history they had. He's going to have a lot of experience there, having just been there. Granted, it was in February, I believe, when the FLW event was last year. He's got the whole
sponsor thing working, too.
And he's got the whole sponsor thing down there that he talked about when he was on the show. It also, he talked about how he likes those kind of grind, mix it up, one here, one there, tournaments. And with the way that Travis seems to fish, from what I've been able to find, that kind of sets up in his wheelhouse. He can get out deep and catch them. He's a TVA guy. He can go up shallow and catch them. He can skip docks. He can put a shaky head in his hand or power fish. So I think Wesley Strader is my pick.
All right. This is going to be his first victory in I don't know how many years. I think
I almost went with him
since
2002. If it's the same angler, I'm thinking
Kelly
of.
Jordan.
Nope, I was thinking Gary Klein.
Really? No, I'm going with Kelly Jordan.
Okay.
Once again, the HFA, Kelly Jordan, Keith Combs, and a surprise, Mr. Jeff Crete.
That's a good.
All right. See, a lot of people don't realize those 3 guys, especially Kelly and Jeff. Jeff has spent a lot of time down there, a lot of time, simply because of a lot of the stuff that he does with Wade Middleton. Mm-hmm. And they have done a lot of shows on Travis. He's very, very familiar.
This was obviously before it went off limits.
Yeah. Long time. I mean, years ago. over the past recent years.
All right, that's a fair one.
I'm going with that.
Mississippi River out of La Crosse. I believe this is the 4th time that they've been there. They were there in 2016, June 21st through 24th. It's a 6th stop of the season. Who you got?
Seth Feider.
You got Seth Feider.
Seth Feider.
Okay. He finished 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
They're in the top 5. I think 2nd to Ott Defo the last time they were there in 2016, and actually was able to take advantage of a smallmouth bite on a hair jig, fishing it on shallow sandbars.
Yes, sir.
If that is, my memory serves me correct.
That's very impressive. No, I got Seth. I think Skeet Reese has performed pretty well there over the years. I like Skeet. And then kind of a guy that may surprise some people a little bit is Bobby Lane. Yep,
that'll work too. I got Aaron Martins, man. He's got a 5th there in 2012, a 2nd in 2013, a 30th in 2016. I just personally don't really think of Aaron as a power fishing river guy, but you look back, what he's done on the Arkansas River, right back the one that Denny won. You look back at some of his finishes, obviously, on this river, and I think his versatility will put him right in the mix again. I think he's got a good shot to win because I think a lot of those guys are more keyed in on what guys like Faircloth and Bobby Lane and Reese have showed those guys on those grass mats, and Aaron kind of finds those out of the way, the current seams and all that. So.
Yeah. All right. Next one. Can't wait to hear this one.
Oahe.
I don't know.
This one to me was kind of a no-brainer. And I'm going with Brandon Polinick.
Okay.
One of the reasons I did that is I actually just did a Bass Zone article with Daryl Akamiku, who's the Bass Nation Anglers fishing in his second year. He's really excited about that. He's from Idaho. He said that based on what he's been able to figure out about that lake, it fishes a lot like the Idaho lakes, long, narrow, skinny, deep, nomadic smallmouth in it with the walleye. Sorry, Daryl, but if it comes down to you or Brandon, I'm still picking Brandon at this point. So that's why I went with Brandon and not Daryl. But if you look back at Polinick's history, when the Elite Series visits semi-unknown, unique northern smallmouth waters. Now, I'm not talking about like Champlain or St. Clair or anything. Like, I want to talk like Lake Michigan in 2012. He finished in second. When they first went to the St. Lawrence in 2013, he blew it away. And he was ninth in 2013 when they went to Sturgeon Bay. So I think this is going to be right along that type of kind of unknown tournament. And when it comes to finding schools of big smallmouth like that, I put Brandon in the top 3 in the world. So he's my pick.
He was my number 2 guy. All right. Now, my number 1 guy, you're going to look at me and you're going to laugh. All right. But I have a theory to this process.
I think I know who it is.
All right, who is one guy that we both know that probably knows that lake better than anybody?
Jamie Freilich.
That's right. And who is one of his best
Brian
friends?
Snowden.
That's right.
But like I said, there's no information.
I know. Hang on.
There were rumors. Is that where you're going?
Yeah, but here's the deal, folks, and what a lot of people
long don't before the off limits that they were going there. Like a year before.
Here's the reality of it, and a lot of general fans do not understand this. The ability for Bass or FLW or really any organization that goes into a community, including Major League Fishing, that wants to get paid for bringing that event to that community, it's very, very hard in the local community to keep that a secret.
It's impossible.
It really is.
And there's rumors.
And if somebody out there doesn't believe that nobody knew that they were coming to South Dakota, you need to wake up.
So here's what so long before the information. So we're talking a year ago.
Yes.
Someone comes up to Lake Oahe and it comes around, hey, we got a Bassmaster event. Jamie Freilich hears wind of it. He mentions it to Brian Snowden, and Brian's got some juice.
He has some juice.
On Oahe, and you have no idea if this is true or not. Right. You're just going out on the limb, seeing it.
I'm trying to get an insight based upon how things work. So, folks, I'm not saying that Brian Snowden illegally or anything like. I'm not even saying this is.
He might not have even talked to Jamie Freilich.
He may not have talked to Jamie in 3 years.
But you're saying a year and a half ago, Jamie Freilich clued him in case the rumors were true. And then it went off limits, but he'd gotten all his stuff before it went off limits. So, okay.
You like that?
If it works, it works.
It's a reach, okay?
It works,
it is a reach. All right, and then the third guy I want to mention for that event is Shin Fukai.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Super finesse. Yes. Stop number 8, Chesapeake Bay, July 26th through 29th. Who you got?
No brainer, Mike Iaconelli.
Okay. He sucked last time there.
Not going to happen this year.
Not going to happen?
I talked in depth about what he did wrong and why he did what he did. He had a lot going on. The only thing I'll say this, dude, his schedule is jam-packed. The other thing, too, the X factor on this, where I kind of hesitated a little bit, was the Ike Foundation tournament is the Saturday prior to the official practice.
You don't think maybe he won't obsess and overthink it and just go out and do his thing then?
I don't know.
It could work in his advantage.
I don't know. And then 2 other guys, Wesley Strader.
Yep.
And Greg Hackney.
Yep, my guy is Greg Hackney.
Okay.
Just makes sense, especially if it turns into a flipping deal, kind of like it did last year in a grass deal. He's fine. The St. Lawrence River, a number of guys you could go here. I'm going Jamie Hartman. He had a top 12. He kind of came from behind last year to make the top 12 at the St. Lawrence. Obviously coming off of all of the 5 top 12 finishes in 2017. He has 9 top 10 BFLs there, and he was 7th last year. He knows that river probably better than anybody, and I mean, he has the capability of weighing in 26 pounds a day for 4 days in a row.
All right. You can't beat the initials. KVD.
You're going back with Kevin after the wire-to-wire win.
Yep.
Okay.
KVD, Polinick, Gerald Swindle.
There you go.
All right.
Toyota Angler of the Year this year.
It's going to be a 3-person race.
You got to pick your fur. Who's going to win it?
KVD.
You got KVD winning it.
Going to win it again.
Okay.
It sets up too good for him going to Grand Lake, Kentucky Lake, the St. Lawrence River. He is going to dominate this year.
All right. We'll see. Okay. I stayed away from Kevin because he doesn't have a stellar track record on the Sabine. Grand could be during the spawn, and he's not a noted sight fisherman. Kentucky, all of his holes have been blown out because he's shown everybody where it needs to be done, and now that everybody is caught up with the offshore, I don't think he's going to have as big of an advantage, and he has not particularly done well on the Chesapeake, and the time before this on the St. Lawrence River, he missed the damn cut.
The initials.
You're still going with them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, and then my number. I
was playing devil's advocate. It wouldn't surprise me if he wins all 9 of them.
I know. 3-person race though. KVD, Jacob Wheeler, and Greg Hackney.
Interesting. This to me was a no-brainer. Aaron, man, you look at how this sets up for Aaron, who's obviously done this before. Let me just go down the schedule real quick here.
Okay.
He lives an hour and a half from Lake Martin. He's good at catching spotted bass, the drop shot, the whole thing. He's going to catch him there. He's got a 3rd place in 2015 on the Sabine River. He has 3 top 15s on Grand Lake. In the last 4 Kentucky Lake tournaments, his lowest finish is 22nd. Lake Travis is an entirely new fishery for him. We already mentioned the 2nd and the 5th that he's got on the Mississippi River. The South Dakota should also play into his wheelhouse. He's one of the best there is at finding fish and figuring off the wall patterns. He won on the Chesapeake in 2015, and in the last 3 stops on the St. Lawrence, his lowest finish is a 26th.
I cannot combat that argument.
So I'm going with Amart.
All right, we'll see.
My rookie of the year is Roy Hawk.
I totally agree.
We got that way wrong last year. We thought it was Alton Jones Jr.
Is that
who we picked? Yeah, because remember there was Toledo Bend. All those Ross Barnett where he done well.
That was not good. All right, I agree with you, Roy Hawk. I think it's his to lose.
All right, we will get to Joe Opager from FLW here in a brief moment. Let us get through the what?
My picks are just hilarious.
The 2018 FLW Tour season, which began today. We'll kick off Lake Okeechobee January 25th through 28th. I got Scott Martin winning this. He's got the most experience. He's the only guy who's seen this lake every day since the hurricane came through last September.
Yeah. No brainer. I have John Cox, Daryl Davis, and Brad Hallman.
They're going back with Brad, the guy who won last time. All right, Harris Chain. I'm just taking a guy who catches them, sight fishing punch. I'm going John Cox on the Harris Chain.
Actually, I'm going with a guy who finished 6th the last time that they were there. It wasn't a tour event, but it was over 64 pounds. It was during the same time of the year. That is Brian Thrift. The other thing is I am going the sight fishing route with Clark Wendelant, who's had some success there. There was a huge drop-off the last event that they had there. I mean, 64-44 is what Wendelant had. And then my third guy is Andy Morgan.
All right, but you're going with the Thrift win.
Going with Thrift.
All right. Stop 3, Lake Lanier. This was a hard one.
It was. I'm going with Gags. I'm going with Anthony Gagliardi with a gentleman by the name, and you're going to hear me say this name again, totally under the radar. His name is Rob Jordan. You know anything about him?
Nope.
Watch out for that name, especially during that event. And then I think Brian Thrift's going to be in the thick of things again.
Well, can we just put an asterisk next to this that Thrift will always be in the top 3 of these? I got Cody Meyer on Lake Lanier. Okay. I think it's time that he contends for a tour victory on it, and I think he could get it done here. Lake Cumberland. What?
Go ahead, man. You're just going to laugh at the one.
Dude, Lake Cumberland, we saw this last year. Scott Martin won it. The smallmouth, the the largemouth, the long runs. It fishes a lot like an Ozark fishery. A lot of the Ozark guys, Watson did well. Another guy who did really well was Casey Scanlon. And I think Casey's going to do well again this time of year. I mean, if he can harness that kind of Ozark feel magic and put it on Cumberland, those guys have a big advantage on steep rock lakes like that.
Yeah. I'm going with the HFA once again. You ever heard of a dude named Barry Wilson?
Yeah, dude, Barry catches the heck out of him, man. He's been around forever. He catches them on Grand all over the TVA.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going with Barry, and then Cody Meyer to make a rally, and once again, Andy Morgan.
Yep. Smith Lake, stop number 5. I got a lock on this one. And it's a tad bit off the radar, but I got a lock on it.
Tell me.
No, you're.
I'm going with Jamie Horton.
Okay, Alabama.
All right, Alabama dude, Mr. James Watson.
Okay.
And Scott Canterbury.
All right.
All right.
Smith Lake has bluebacks in it.
Yes, sir.
And the guys who know how to catch fish for bluebacks, especially the end of April, beginning of May, blueback spawn could be on. Some of the fish could already be out. But a guy who is dominant on clear water with bluebacks in it and understands how that all works, always is in the thick of things, is Brandon Cobb. South Carolina dude.
I think I like it.
Brandon Cobb wins this tournament.
I like it.
Stop number 6 on Kentucky Lake. You could pick a number. I'm just going to pick probably one of the most obvious and go Jason Lambert.
Dead on with you.
Yeah,
that's my top guy. Andy Morgan, and then once again, a guy we haven't mentioned who he's so solid is Mark Rose.
Yeah. Stop number 7 on Lake St. Clair.
This is a no-brainer, dude.
Yeah.
A no-brainer.
And I actually read an article. I'd never heard of this guy somehow. But I read an FLW article on him.
He
and
is
then
the
looked
Jason
him up.
Christie of Lake St. Clair.
No, he's better than Jason Christie. This guy's stuff is nuts. Scott Dobson.
Yeah. He's impressive.
I have no clue. Like I said, I read an FLW article about it. It wasn't like I was like, oh, he's going to be a sleeper. They said he's going to win this tournament. So, I mean, I'm picking him.
Yeah.
He's got 6 BFL wins on St. Clair, the Detroit River, and 28 top 10s in BFL, and I think 1 coast on there. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a number of other guys. Chad Morgenthaler is a sleeper there. If something happens to St. Clair and the bite's not on, I know Chad loves to run out to Erie and catch him.
There's another HFA guy who lives right on the lake. His name is Steve Hatala, I think is how you say his name. All right, who has stellar performance on St. Clair. So, yeah, we're both dialed in. Scott Dobson, that's his to lose.
That's FLW's pick. That's it. They're the one. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
That's what I said. Forest Wood Cup, Lake Ouachita, August 10th through 12th. Dude, Thrift gets his first one.
All right, I'm going with the HFA. I'm going with Mark Rose.
Okay.
All right.
That could work. FLW Tour Angler of the Year. Dude, a third of the schedule, the first 2 stops, Scott Martin's going to catch him. Then he's going to catch him on St. Clair. He catches him there before. He's going to catch him on Kentucky Lake. He catches him there before. He won on Cumberland. And then he just survives Lanier and Smith Lake and hopes that Thrift doesn't win 5 tournaments out of the 7, and Scott Martin's your Angler of the Year.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
I had Scott Martin and Andy Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one of the 2.
Okay.
I think a lot of things set up for Andy real good. And then Rookie of the Year, who's your rookie?
Todd Castledine. Yeah, dude, if you look strictly at the stats, Cecil has better stats as far as he's won more. He's been in it more than Castledine. Yeah. Maybe it's because I've fished against Castledine and he's kicked. I mean, he's thumped me every single tournament I've ever been against him. I think he's a little bit intimidating. I think he comes out and shows there's something to prove. Maybe if Cecil had kicked my ass and not Castledine, I'd go with him. But I'm going with Todd Castledine. I think he's going to catch him this year.
All right. I think this guy has a really, really, really good chance at winning at Lanier. I mentioned his name earlier. Did a lot of research on the guy.
What made you do this?
Rob Jordan.
What made you do this? How'd you come up with that?
I was looking once again. I mean, I was trying to do homework, and I think we've given pretty educated assessments of how we think that the season's
like I
gonna
said,
work
we
out.
didn't go off the wall very often.
Somebody on the instant feedback, Dennis in Illinois, wants to know: have you guys ever been right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Last year I called a come from behind win by Jason Christie. I have the audio from it. We can play it. A come from behind win by Jason Christie on Lake St. Clair. And it was a come from behind win by Jason Christie on Lake St. Clair. And I think you picked 3 of your guys were finishing the top 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's prognostication. You have no idea about it.
And so many factors.
It's like picking your bracket.
What happens?
Hell, we don't even know that we pick. The reason I picked my Forest Wood Cup champ for with Brian Thrift is he's already qualified for it. Who'd you pick?
Yeah, Mark Rose.
I don't think he's even qualified for it yet, is he?
I don't know.
He's still got to make it. At least I'll have a dog in the fight.
Yeah. Jeez. Let's see here. Mark in Minnesota wants to know, how do you guys feel from the Elite Series in 2017 we'll do on the FLW Tour? Oh, he's talking about the guys that didn't requalify for the Elite Series now over on the FLW side.
Do well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, typically they
fine.
do.
The guys will land on their feet. So some of them are, originally fish FLW for a number of years.
Yeah.
Came over to the Elite Series.
Oh, there was one other name I forgot to mention who happens to be a former Elite Series guy on St. Clair, and that was Kurt Duff.
Yeah.
He really, really likes that body of water and has had some success there.
And if it is a drop shot deal out there, you do a lot of drop shotting on Amistad where he guides. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff, man. Nice job. It was interesting. It was interesting that we had a lot of the same picks based upon, obviously, our research and the knowledge that we had in dealing with this stuff for so long. So
I feel confident. We'll put these into the BTL vault. Yes. And then at the end of the season,
there you go.
We'll revisit these fine picks and see how right we were or how wrong we were.
All right, what else, man?
Nothing, dude. I'm ready to talk to Joe.
All right, let me see if I can
You're gonna run.
Get things. Yeah, I gotta go.
Run a commercial series. Yep. We'll come back with Joe Opager from FLW, director of PR, who is down in Florida for the kickoff of the 2018 FLW Tour season. And we will have him on the line when we come back.
All right, everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The most versatile fishing machine on Earth. Unparalleled resolution and clarity, with more agility, lightning speed, and brute strength. HDS Carbon takes rapid response performance and screen technology to an all-new level. Maximized power, maximized visibility. See Structure Scan 3D, new dual chirp sonar, new live network sonar, and more mapping options, all at the same time and faster than ever before.
Pros depend on hydraulic jack plates to get the best out of their boats. Do what they do. Demand Atlas performance. Atlas gets you from the bottom to the top in less than 8 seconds, even with the big 4 strokes. And when you gotta turn right around and get that heavy load back up in rough water, Atlas's innovative design and American-made components will get you there with confidence.
I'm at Depot. Just look for yourself. There's an Atlas jack plate on just about every professional's boat.
The Atlas hydraulic jack plate. You can depend on it.
My rods look different because they are different. Every rod is built by the pros and for the pros. When you pick up a white Duckett fishing rod, you're getting a cutting-edge rod, one that's truly pro-driven with the actions you need for every bait category you fish. I put my name on it. It's my promise to build you a great rod you can count on.
Duckett Fishing, Micro Magic, Macro Magic, or White Ice.
Try them. They work.
What's up, guys? Scott Martin here, Team AFCO. Hey, if you want to have a chance to fish with me at a lake near you, well, check out the link below. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys.
The Lowrance Elite 7 TI. Why does it lead the pack? It's simple. More bang for your buck. Use Elite 7 TI with the all-new Total Scan transducer, and you get all of your sonar from a single transducer install. That's broadband sounder, chirp sonar, side scan, and down scan imaging from one transducer. Now that's something to chirp about. Elite 7 TI. Premium features have never been so affordable.
I'm looking for signs before practice even starts. Crossing the bridge, I'm checking for current. Is the lake up or down? What's my watercolor? Bird activity tells me where the shad are before I ever launch my boat. Sometimes the best things hit me right in the face.
The pesky biffle bugs. There's always a hatch on your lake. Made in America by Jean LaRue Lures.
Dang bug juice, it's everywhere.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word: confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
SX1 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line. Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
All right, we are back. Mart and Matt in studio. And, dude, did you see what the high's supposed to be on Sunday? 72 degrees.
Fancy.
Except the wind's supposed to be blowing like 80 miles an hour out of the south. Are you okay?
I'll be up
all
in
right?
Tulsa on Sunday.
Yeah, I know. Are you all right?
Yeah, I got a hangnail. Like, I literally have a hangnail. Like, look, it's past the
I better
cliff.
put you on the IR, man. You're going on the IR.
It's like, seriously, look at that. That is honestly what was bothering
That is
me.
nasty. Jeez.
Right past the quick.
Tell kids that all the time, man. You got a hangnail, you need to go on the injury reserve.
No, I really do. It hurts every time I bend my finger.
All right, you ready to bring in Joe?
Yep.
Our good friend Joe from FLW Outdoors, kicking things off on the FLW Tour this week. And let's see, you there, Joe?
What is up, fellas?
How are you?
Doing great. Down in sunny Florida, out of cold Minnesota, hanging out at Roland Martin Marina, kicking off the tour season. Life is good right now.
Have you taken a picture of your head in the Roland Martin cutout that's down there?
I have not this year. I certainly did one of my first visits a couple years back, but definitely saw it this morning, and there were people taking pictures, so it's still a draw.
What does it say on it? Doesn't it say like sun or something on it?
Yeah, it does. Dang, son, fishing is fun, or something like that.
Have you done that, Matt?
Oh, absolutely. That was the first thing I did when we went to Okeechobee. Dave and I drove down there with
have that picture
the
somewhere?
Polaroid camera, and I got up on the little box and put my head in there.
Jeez.
Absolutely, I still have it.
All right, Joe, we appreciate you taking time out. Obviously, many thoughts are with the family of Nick Kaler, and gotta be very curious. How did things go this morning, and what can you tell us as far as that situation?
Things went well, all things considered. I mean, obviously there was a little bit more of a somber mood than there usually is, in the first event of the season. We did hold a nice tribute this morning. Well, last night at the registration meeting, we handed out black wristbands to all of the anglers competing, and we asked for donations for the family. And just at the registration meeting alone, we raised more than $2,000 to be added along with the GoFundMe funds that we've been working on raising as well. But then this morning we had a nice little ceremony before takeoff. After our morning prayer from Jimmy Houston, we held a honorary man overboard signal to tribute Nick, and that's just yelling of man overboard, followed by 3 blasts of an air horn and a single vertical flare shot into the air. So we did that, followed by a moment of silence. And then Bill Taylor released him, and we got him out on the water fishing. So it was a good kickoff to the season, and guys are out there right now catching fish.
All right, man. Let's talk a little bit about the conditions. I know a lot of stuff has been said. It's a little bit tougher, the conditions. How much do you think that the Florida advantage is going to come into play this week?
Well, apparently from everybody that I've talked to, it's not really going to come in too much of an advantage. Obviously, the hurricane last fall, kind of stirred everything up. It moved a lot of grass. It opened up a lot of areas that were really protected before, and it's kind of, Scott and Martin described the water as being very fragile. Any sort of wind like we have today, we've got about a 15-mile-an-hour wind, really stirs up the lake and gets it really muddy. So the challenge is going to be either finding the clear water and, or, obviously those clear water areas are going to be extremely crowded, or figuring out a way to catch those fish in the muddy water. So it's going to be an interesting derby, and definitely taking away some of the local advantage.
Last year, you guys really could not have gotten off to a better start with the back-to-back Mark Rose, and then the Brian Thrift, who was in the midst of his top 10 run and the second place finishes, and it really generated a buzz of, in 26 seasons of the FLW Tour, a bunch of never before done stuff happened in the span of like a month.
Yes.
How are you guys going into this year knowing that after Okeechobee and Harris Chain, it's going to be hard to top what Mark Rose and Brian Thrift did to kick off last year?
Well, I mean, obviously, the storybook start to last season, with Mark going back-to-back and Brian taking second back-to-back, like you said, had never been done and was really fun, and that story kind of writes itself. But that's the challenge every year. This is not, we're not quite to 26 yet. This is our 23rd season of the FLW Tour, and this is actually our 21st time that we've come to Lake Okeechobee. So, this lake is always changing. Things are always a little different. We've got a lot of history here. We've seen over the years the Brendan McMillan, Randall Tharp shootouts with the 100-pound bags, and Casey Martin and Brett Height lighting it up with 35-pound bags. And, Okeechobee is always a fun place to start. And, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see how the story kind of comes into effect starting this afternoon.
Joe, how much dealings have you had with the rookie class of 2018? And is there anybody out of that class that you're really impressed with?
Well, some of the guys you mentioned earlier, Todd Castledine and Russell Cecil, they've been Costa anglers for many, many years and had a lot of success on that level. So, we've had some interactions with them, and they're obviously expected to have great rookie seasons. But, there's some other rookies, too, that are coming up. Sheldon Collins, that kid from Oklahoma, Randy Blockett's protege on tour. And, we expect big things from him this year. Taylor Ashley is another Costa competitor who won the Costa event last year down here. I haven't actually spoke with him or met with him before, but I know he's a guy. He's an angler that a lot of guys were talking about coming into this event that could, start the season real well with these first two events in Florida. So, we do have a large rookie class, but there's a lot of good sticks in there, and we certainly expect them to compete.
Logistically, what was the meeting like with 180 plus, and then you throw the co-anglers in there? That's 1,000 people, Joe.
It didn't seem that much bigger than normal. Obviously, the field last year was a little over 160, so we've got about 20 to 25 more pros, so that's 20 to 25 more co-anglers as well. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too crowded. Obviously, like I said, first event of the year, everybody's super excited to get back, and all the pleasantries are being exchanged from everybody seeing each other since the Forest Wood Cup. So it was a lot of fun. But in going to that field and in making it 187 anglers this year, we were able to up the payouts, though. So last year we paid out $10,000 to 50th place. This year we're paying out $10,000 down to 60th place. So that's another $100,000 in the angler's pockets that's going to them. So really cool to be able to do. And yeah, Lake Okeechobee is always fun.
Very nice. From a, I guess, social media standpoint on ways to follow it, last year you had some individual anglers doing some cool stuff with Joe Holland doing his. I don't believe he's on tour this year. Is he? Average Joe?
No, Joe is
yeah,
not
he
on
did
tour
a
this
cool
year. No.
Average Joe series, and he roomed with JT and Brian, and there was some great stuff. Scott Martin doing his thing. Obviously, you had Travis Moran and David Dudley in there some, and Rob Newell in there some with the FLW Live. And then you had individual anglers that were also running Facebook Live feeds on their individual Facebook pages. Just give us kind of a heads up of what we can expect from a media video presence as far as what FLW will be providing this year. And then if you know of any cool side projects that you've heard of that any of the competitors are going to be doing, anything that we should be on the lookout for.
Sure. Well, on the FLW side of things, it's going to be just very similar to what we did last year. We'll have the live blog going on Thursday and Friday, and then the live streamed weigh-ins. So those start today at 3 p.m. Eastern time out here. And then Saturday and Sunday, we'll have our FLW Live on the Water broadcast. And the hosts of that will be Travis Moran and Rob Newell, just kind of how we ended off last year. That starts at 8:30 Eastern time and goes till 12:30. And that's always for every single tour event on that Saturday and Sunday. It will always be 8:30 to 12:30 in the local time zone wherever we're fishing. So obviously on the East Coast, we're in Eastern time right now. But then and then of course the weigh-ins are always live streamed every day at FLWFishing.com. As far as anglers live streaming on their own, I know there are a couple planning to do it this year. David Dudley had a pretty good following last year. I know he's going to continue doing it. Carl Jacobson, I know, is another guy that was planning to do a live stream. But, that's just something that these guys are kind of doing on their own. And kudos to them in doing that. I mean, they've each are averaging, a couple hundred viewers throughout the day and kind of just talking. And I'm sure it helps them a little bit by being able to talk and explain what they're doing and kind of help with their thought process. But, the FLW Live last year was a game changer for us, and we're excited to kind of expand on the show this year. Hopefully a little more production work will be going into some of the graphics and things like that. And then just as far as, Rob and Travis's rapport together, as well as the FLW Live set, everything's getting a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Everybody's getting more comfortable. So we look forward to seeing how it grows this year.
All right, very nice, man. Give me a weight, Joe. Give me a winning weight
for this tournament, not your weight.
Yeah. Well, if you would have talked to me before registration, I would have said 85 pounds. But now, I don't know, after hearing all the belly aching last night, I'm going to take it down a little bit, and I'm going to say 76 pounds for a 4-day winning total this week.
Right,
I think that's what I picked on my FLW Fantasy Fishing. Was 76.
I think I picked 72.
There you go.
So you picked
and honestly,
72.
after today, I could see some big bags coming in today. 25, 26 pounds. We actually kind of expect that. But to be able to sustain that over 4 days, in the muddy water like it is going to be a huge challenge, and that's something that I really expect to happen. So I think 76 pounds is safe, but honestly, I hope I'm low. I would love to see 90, 100 pounds. You never know on this lake.
Hey, Josh in Missouri wants to know, who's the circuit breaker this year?
No circuit breaker this year. We are trying to finish up the Cody Meyer season still, and producer Travis has been working on some other projects for us, which should be debuting soon. But I hate to break the bad news to everybody, but there will be no circuit breaker this year, and the Cody Meyer season, which has still got an episode or two left, will be the final season for now.
Yeah, they started filming that in 2011, and they've released one episode of the 2011 season every year since then, right? I'm just giving you a hard time. It was from 2016. The last one was at Kentucky Lake, the fifth stop. So there should be 2 more circuit breakers coming out, and then whatever he does for the year-end deal and the Forcewood Cup.
And that got to be the problem, is he got so backed up, and he was getting all this new film, and and coverage from attending these events and getting more.
Oh, yeah.
But he was working on episodes from the previous season and not getting time to work on those episodes because he was on the road filming for the next.
And the problem was he
season,
set the bar too high because he comes out with the Cody Meyer and it looks like it's a 15-man production team who does it. And people don't realize, because we found ourselves, Mark and I, in this situation too.
Oh, yeah.
People don't realize you don't just give it to the editor and go, make your work, and they'd come back in a week with it. Once you shoot it, you have to do it yourself. And edit it, finish and render it. And it is many, many, many hours. So we're not busting his balls too hard.
No.
And obviously the people are asking because it's darn good stuff, Joe.
No, we get those all the time, and honestly, we ask him all the time, because we're fans of the show as well in the office. So I wish we could do more to help the poor guy, but it is a one-man operation, and I know he's still hard at work on the Cody Meyer season, trying to get that off his plate and wrapped up. And he's a really talented guy and someone we're really extremely lucky to have in our office. So expect some cool videos coming soon. And just because Circuit Breaker's not happening doesn't mean there won't be some really cool stuff coming.
Nice. Are you guys doing the day 5 again this year?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That's a cool feature.
Go ahead.
No, I just said that's a cool feature.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The fan feedback on that has been fantastic. I mean, after every tour event, Kyle Wood or Jody White or another member of our web team will go out on the water and get the breakdown and know exactly, how these guys were catching them, where they were catching them, and you actually get to see, the stumps that they're throwing to, the exact stumps that they're throwing to a lot of the time. So it's really been a great feature and very popular, and definitely something we're going to do this year as well.
I think 2 of the day 5s, Kyle caught would have been the tournament biggest fish on day 5. I know he caught a monster with Justin Atkins, and then when they went out on the Mississippi River, they caught a bunch of big ones too. It was crazy how that worked out.
Yeah. Joe, were you guys bummed out?
Well, real quick on those day 5 videos, the anglers deserve a ton of credit for those because those are entirely, on their time. After the tournament gets over on Sunday night, most of these guys are hitting the road, heading for home or the next tournament or wherever. And, we have to ask these guys to volunteer to stick around another day, go back out on the lake Monday and kind of spill the beans. So the anglers are the guys that deserve most of the credit for those day 5 videos.
All right, very cool. Were you guys all bummed out about the Vikings?
Not everybody, because there are some Packer fans in our office, unfortunately, but I am certainly very bummed out about the Vikings, and most of our office is.
It started out so good, too.
I know.
I know. It's kind of life as a Vikings fan, unfortunately. One of these years, it's going to be our year. It kind of helped that the game wasn't very close, because, typical Vikings loss is a heartbreaker right at the end where we think we're going and then something happens. At least this one, by halftime, I was thinking, okay, we're done, and I could kind of get on with it by that point. But
change it to Peppa Pig so the kid had something interesting to watch.
Hey, we've got a good defense in place. I think next year is our year.
All right, man. Hey, as always, we really appreciate you taking time out to fill us in on what's going down at the Big O, and we'll have you on before the Harris chain, Joe.
Hey, that sounds great. Make sure to check out the live weigh-in starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time this afternoon, FLWFishing.com.
All right, there you have it. Take care, Joe.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, see you. There you have it. Now we'll see if it's going to be a grind or not. I think 70, 75, 72, 73.
Yeah, but I think it'll only take low teens to make the day 4 cut.
Yeah.
12, 13 a day.
Yeah. All right, good stuff, man.
Because you can catch a lot. You can catch a 12, 13-pound limit and have a 7-pounder. We'll see a lot of that.
Yeah, how many times over the years has it been, oh, yeah, that one bite? The one
it's the same. What did he say? It was the 19th time they've been to there? Or 20?
Yeah.
Something crazy.
Dude, there's a lot of people on the instant feedback bummed about no more circuit breaker.
Dad, I told you that's that is a case of circuit breaker turned into the HBO series, right when they get really good. They get too hard to make because you get pulled in different directions, and they have to each year has to be better than the last, and then they end up canceling it. And I don't know if they're canceling it or suspending it, but what happened was the product got too good for their own, because when you put it out, they've done Chad Grigsby and JT Kenny in 1 year. They did Mark Daniels Jr. for a year. They did Casey Martin for a year. They did, and then they did Cody Meyer this year. I think they might have done one more. But they go out every single day, follow them around on the water. And the finished product for the Cody Meyer thing, like I said, it looks like a movie watching it for the first 5 episodes. It's one of the few things that I'll just click watch without any fast forwarding through at all.
Wow.
What?
Stuff.
What? Oh, on the instant feedback?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just funny. We'll get into Jimmy's stuff on Tuesday.
Okay.
I need to know what state, Jimmy, what state are you from? You got to put your state on there.
State of denial.
Jimmy from...
Tuesday, our next show, which will be the January 30th, is at a special time, which we need to emphasize that.
Yes.
Is if you're listening live, 11 a.m. Central Time, with the man himself, Skeet Reese.
Yes.
And I got a text from none other than Charlie Hartley, who said, "Hey, you guys need to bust Skeet Reese and give him a hard time.
About?
Don't get intimidated by Skeet, Matt.
About?
Everything." Because he said, he gave Tommy a little bit of a hard time and Chrissy a little bit of a hard time. So he said, don't take it easy on Skeet. And then Thursday, wow, we got a good week next week. We have Greg Hackney on.
Yes. And a lot of people are asking, specifically Josh in Missouri wants to know about my manifesto. I'm going to hold off my that big manifesto about how some of the things that could be done, that could change the tournament format.
No, that you were talking about last year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never got to.
That's probably a good thing.
We may get to that on down the road. We'll see. Jimmy is from Florida.
Okay.
All right. So, thank you, Jimmy. Now we know. I like Jimmy. Jimmy has some great stuff. Even posted a comment that we'll probably get into on Tuesday about the NBA getting 1% of gambling revenue.
You think he's got?
I got to look into that.
You think he's got the Florida gold chain?
Jimmy?
Yeah, like Big Show does and Bobby Lane does. It's that kind of slightly chunky gold chain that a lot of those guys who fish down in Florida do.
No, I don't think so.
That's a Florida thing, man.
I don't think so.
It's kind of like wearing the OU hat in Oklahoma.
No. Jimmy's not sporting the chain.
You ever seen Big Shows?
Yeah.
And Bobby Lane's?
Oh, I know. I don't think so. Not going there. I think no gold. No gold for Jimmy. Jimmy, send us a picture, man. Prove that I'm right. Prove that you're not sporting the gold.
Wow, we almost kept it to an hour.
It was close.
Yeah.
It was close. All right, Ski Reese Tuesday, Greg Hackney Thursday. Everybody be safe. Try and get out. If you can bust through the ice.
Anything on icy, the water temp's 45.
Yeah. Try and do some fishing. We're back on Tuesday. Everybody be safe.